Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today's video we'll be trying out Demon King on a auto team for Bird to see how good he is for auto, because that's sort of how you end up testing things for Bird now. You make a team, you stick an auto and you see how they perform. That's because Bird has gotten to the point where it is super easy and they've also added the auto feature, so you might as well make the most out of it. So for the team we're running Demon King with attack crit. You can use old Demon King attack crit gear sets for the OG Demon King on this new Demon King, which is pretty useful. I wish I knew that before I made a second HP defense set for him, but anyway, it exists now. He's got Mail Link as well to maximize his damage. We've got Demon King Melee, solely because of the fact of the defense low is actually pretty handy. It also removes debuffs as well, which is also quite good. And he's also got attack crit on. Gelda has HP crit dam. She's got HP defense. Okay, I've got to change it to HP defense with pierce rate rolls at the top to maximize her damage. And then we got Blue Westerosa. I was thinking of going red, but I decided to go blue in the end, just because I feel like blue is going to be a little bit easier, a little bit better. Yes, I do miss out on about 3% attack, but the damage increase can be pretty handy, and also the damage increase will also help Gelda, and instead of providing attack, he provides basic stats, which is much better for Gelda as well. And he is running attack crit. He's also got Ratamio, because I feel like he's the one that's most likely going to be targeted. As you can tell by the stats, he does have the lowest stats, and I believe he's also the oldest character here. For the card set we're running, if everyone's the same race, we get a lovely 15% attack related stat boost. I'm pretty sure Gelda does count as being a demon. Hoping this doesn't count like prior to the match starting. We'll find out anyway. And for links, all the links are running HP defense, just sort of maximize HP and maximize a little bit of bulk as well. Anyway, let's get on with it. Here we go, on to floor 1. It's going to go all into auto. No, nothing. We're not going to be switching up. Put auto and see how it goes. It should be quite easy. It is Bird, and we are running quite a powerful team. Let's get the shield as well, which is pretty good. Shield should actually be quite bulky. A lot of basic stats. It is going to immediately use the ability. I was thinking of using Melee Liz, but once again, you can't use their buffs, so it's a little iffy. Westerosa's damage is actually really good. Demon King does provide the team with, I believe, 4% all stats per demon ally, so you end up with a 16% all stat boost, which helps everyone in everything. So we get a lovely bit of lifesteal, we get a lovely bit of crit chance, crit damage, and with Gelda it also helps with her stats as well. There we go, we also get a nice bit of healing. Melee should also heal as well, which is really useful, which is the reason why you don't really need to bring a healer, because this team not only does a lot of damage, but it has Demon King, which gives you all stats. It's not you may even need a healer for this team. With the demons, don't really have a healer. The commandments, they've got Glocks, but that's it. Which is kind of, I don't know, it's a little bit sad. Not bad. Demon King, that is damage cap. There we go. Melee also has damage cap as well. We're basically going to continuously max out the stacks. Also, because no commandments can be in play, because Westerosa's commandment is PvP only, we can actually make use of the attack boost. What I'm actually going to do here is I'm going to remove this. I'm going to have a look at his stats. So, he's only got 16% lifesteal, but that's because he provides 4% all stats per demon ally, which is what you'd expect. But his other stats, being his attack-related stats, are really good. 500% crit damage is what you would expect. 233% crit chance, 245% pierce rate, and even the resistance is quite a decent stat. And I really can't wait for this new AM Melee, because I feel like when Demon King gets this new AM Melee, and when he gets a new updated meta team, we could really see a terrifying character come to meta. He's decent at the moment, but if he versus humans, he does sort of immediately fall off a cliff because the Sung Jin Woo's debuffs, the new Escanor relic, which is pretty broken, and then yeah, the human team is pretty much a full counter to him at the moment. But when he gets this new Melee, whole different story. It's going to be a whole different story. Here we go, we'll check out damage now. Melee does damage cap. Unfortunately, he does immediately also remove his debuffs because he is 4/6, which means he's going to immediately remove his debuffs after he ults. Gelda's actually doing decent damage. That's a really high defense phase, and that's a no effect skill, which is pretty good. Not bad. Demon King's pretty useful. This team's actually not too bad, and I think it's one of the teams that you can just auto it with. That's actually quite decent. And now on to floor 2. Here we are, now on to floor 2. Should also be quite easy. Phase 2 is really the only scary thing we've got to deal with. But apart from that, it should actually be quite easily. We do have to deal with Rive, but it is 50% damage cap now, so it shouldn't be as bad. I was sort of thinking, how am I going to do it? Because I've completely forgot this thing has been nerfed to absolute oblivion. But yeah, this team should be completely fine. I do wish this debuff here, this debuff is a all-stat lower, and I wish it lasts for every phase. Sadly, it only lasts for the first phase of every demonic beast. I wish like he applied it every turn, sort of, or like it continued on, because some debuffs do. Some debuffs continue on to the next phases, which is pretty cool. But Demon King's does not, sadly. Yeah, this thing's about to get minced. This is very much overkill. Nice damage cap. I wouldn't expect anything less than damage cap from basically everyone on this team. There we go, it triggered the res. Melee gets the kill. Good team. Honestly, it's a really good team. If you are struggling with Bird and you want to know a decent auto team, let's say you don't have unknowns, you have goddesses, and you don't really have too many good humans, this is quite a good team. Of course, you can switch out blue Asteros for red if you want to. I was going to do that at first, but I decided to go for blue in the end anyway. Team's not too bad, they're doing decent damage. Gelder's even doing decent damage, because once again, there's not really many good demon choices. You know, you can't pick Zeldris, because you've got Demon King on the team. I was thinking maybe Galland, but Galland doesn't really provide the most to the team compared to other support characters. And then you've also got Demi, but you can't run Demi because he's debuff immune. There you go, Gelder's 6/6, that's a lot of damage. Who would have thunk? But anyway, that's floor 2 done. Another really, really easy floor. I don't think my team took any damage. I feel like the next phase will be the next floor will be the true test if we can do it with no damage. If we can do it with no damage, it's probably one of the best auto teams I've used yet. I can actually say it's a very good auto team at the moment. Anyway, on to floor 3. Here we are now on to floor 3. Should be quite easy. I don't see why it wouldn't be quite easy. The only, I think, real trouble is going to be the first phase and the last phase, depending on what passes we get. But it should be okay. First phase can be a little bit painful solely because of the fact of it has a lot of damage reduction to level 1 skills. It's about 100% or like 200% damage reduction to level 1 skills, unless they've removed that, which they could quite easily have removed that. Because they've nerfed Bird a million times at this point. It's not immune to darkness, which is really nice. It means we can get that damage increase. That will actually really help out Gelder as well. So darkness is a 10% damage increase for every stack you have on the enemy. Of course, darkness does stack up. It caps at 5. This actually looks really funny to see the way it's sort of stacked up here. But yeah, it's 30% defense related stat lowered. It's taking 40% more damage. It's 10% all stat lowered and has the corrosion as well. I don't think the corrosion works. That's just the way to apply the corrosion. So it wouldn't actually take corrosion damage. Just how the corrosion applies. Did waste a lot of good skills, which wasn't really necessary, but good damage. It's a decent team. Even if it doesn't one-shot every phase on this floor, it's still a very good team. The team's got decent bulk. It's got a cleanse effect, just in case you get infected or any sort of other debuff that's kind of irritating to deal with. The darkness stacks itself increases your team's bulkiness with the basic stats. You know, you've got the damage increase from darkness stacks itself. Melee's defense low is really handy for characters like Gelder, who don't really have high crit chance. And Estarossa is quite an old character at this point. Yeah, this team's melted. Honestly, it's very good. I'm actually very impressed. I think he's going to score much higher than what I thought he was on this. Just because it's, I know all stat is like, I guess, a very common thing that characters have now on festivals. It's like, oh, you know, Mael had 4% all stat boost per goddess ally, and I feel like that's going to be the common trend, because we saw had the common trend of like, okay, duo character fan favorite, and that's what we've had this year so far. So the next character we'll probably get festival-wise will be a duo character, and the one after that will be a fan favorite. Or they might just completely forget that and just go straight to Four Knights, which I would sort of expect at this point, because we haven't had a Four Knights in quite a while. What I mean by that is a festival, like a proper one. Last one we had was Lance, was the only one we actually had festival-wise. But yeah, this team's crazy. Honestly, probably one of the better teams out there for auto. Would I recommend it? 100%. If you can make this team, you're struggling, this is quite a decent team. Once again, red Timul on Estarossa, because Estarossa is the squishiest here by quite a mile. It's red, so it's not going to target Demon King. It won't target Melee, because Melee stats are much higher than Estarossa's, and it won't target Gelder, because Gelder is red as well. So it's probably going to go for Estarossa, because he's got the lowest stats. But yeah, thank you for watching. It was enjoyed. I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.